There's something different about tonight. Something calm yet impossible to ignore. Like life itself is quietly preparing you for a moment that's been waiting to arrive for a very long time. The person who once lived only in your memories, the one you tried to forget while still secretly wishing things had turned out differently, is slowly finding their way back into your world. Not through force, not through desperation, but through timing that finally makes sense after every delay, every disappointment, and every season where nothing seemed to move forward. Sometimes life separates people so they can grow into the versions of themselves that are finally capable of understanding what truly matters, and tomorrow may feel like proof of that. You've carried unanswered emotions in silence, wondering why certain connections never fully disappeared no matter how much time passed, and now the universe seems to be responding in the quietest but strongest way possible. Even now, there's a strange shift in the energy around you, a feeling that something meaningful is approaching faster than expected. The path ahead may still feel uncertain, but deep down you already sense that a new chapter is beginning to unfold. When this person finally steps back into your life, it won't feel random or confusing anymore. It will feel familiar, almost like a story paused halfway through has finally decided to continue. And maybe that's why your heart has felt restless lately, because somewhere beyond your doubts, a long-awaited moment has already started moving toward you. There is a reason your intuition has been restless lately, why your heart beats differently at night, why something inside you whispers that something massive is coming, something that could change the direction of your life entirely. And tomorrow, when he appears, his eyes will carry the weight of truths he could never speak before. And yet, before you think this is just a reunion, understand that tomorrow is not about him simply returning. It is about a revelation he has been holding inside his chest for months, a truth so heavy that it shaped the way he disappeared, the way he watched you from the shadows, the way he kept trying to come back but stopped himself at the last second, because he knew that once he stood before you again, nothing would ever be the same. This time he isn't coming with hesitation, he isn't coming confused, he isn't coming unsure of how he feels. He is coming with a purpose, driven by something he discovered recently, something that threatened to destroy everything he once believed about you, but instead awakened him to a depth of emotion he didn't know he was capable of holding. He realized something about you that changed him at the core, something that made him question his past choices, something that made him admit that letting you go was the biggest mistake of his life, and tomorrow he comes to confess exactly what that was. You may not know it yet, but he has been preparing himself for days, rehearsing words he keeps losing, battling fears he once allowed to defeat him, and tomorrow he walks through that fear because he finally understands that destiny doesn't wait for those who hesitate. What makes tomorrow so powerful is not just his arrival, but the force that pushed him toward you, an undeniable sign, a message, a moment that hit him like lightning recently, proving that no matter how far he ran, no matter how deeply he hid his feelings, no matter how long he tried to silence the connection between you both, something always pulled him back to you. He tried convincing himself that time would dull the memory of your presence, but time only intensified everything. He tried burying the sound of your voice in his mind, but it echoed louder the more he resisted. He tried erasing the way you looked at him with trust, with softness, with a silent hope he didn't know how to handle, but every face he saw reminded him of the one he walked away from. Something happened that forced him to look directly into his truth, something he couldn't avoid anymore, and in that moment he realized that he doesn't just miss you, he needs to stand before you again, because the future refuses to unfold without that meeting. And tomorrow, when he stands in front of you, you will feel the intensity he tried so hard to deny, the gravity of a connection that refuses to die, and the spark that was never meant to fade. But understand this, tomorrow brings more than clarity, it brings confession. You will finally hear the reason he kept his distance, the truth he was terrified to reveal before, the fear that chained him and blinded him. His silence wasn't rejection, it was panic. He didn't disappear because he didn't care. He disappeared because you mattered too much, and he feared that if he came too close, he would ruin everything. People around him influenced him, circumstances cornered him, past wounds made him hesitate. But every time, he tried to settle into a life without you. Life itself refused to let him. Signs chased him, dreams haunted him, moments broke him, and all of it led to one unstoppable realization. He couldn't escape what was meant for him. He couldn't replace you. He couldn't rewrite destiny. And tomorrow, destiny collects its due. He comes with the truth he once hid, with the courage he once lacked, with the love he once feared, and when you hear it, something in your heart will shift forever. The world around you will feel different tomorrow, as if the air changes, as if time slows, as if everything pauses just long enough for the universe to say, "This is the moment." You won't have to chase, you won't have to ask, you won't have to wonder. He comes to you. His presence will carry a weight you haven't felt in a long time, a seriousness that tells you he isn't here to play with your heart or repeat history. He comes to rewrite everything. And when he stands before you, there will be a silence, one that says everything words can't capture. In that silence, you will feel the truth. His return was never random, his timing was never late, and this meeting was never optional. Something massive begins tomorrow, something that will test you, awaken you, transform you, and pull you into a chapter that destiny has been preparing for far longer than you realize. Tomorrow, he comes, and nothing will be the same after that. The evening before everything changes often feels unusually heavy, like the air itself is trying to whisper a secret your heart already senses but your mind still struggles to understand. There's a tension sitting quietly inside you, an unexplainable feeling that tomorrow carries something meaningful, something capable of shifting emotions you thought had settled long ago. Maybe sleep feels distant tonight. Maybe your thoughts keep circling back to memories you never expected to revisit. And maybe there's a strange pull drawing your attention towards someone you tried to place behind you. That feeling is not random. Sometimes life moves in silence before it changes everything at once. Tomorrow is not about fantasy or perfect timing. It's about two people finally reaching a moment they can no longer avoid. He is approaching this chapter with emotions he kept buried beneath pride, confusion, and distance for far too long. For months he convinced himself staying quiet was easier than admitting what still lived inside him, but recent events forced him to confront truths he could no longer outrun. A sudden experience reminded him how fragile connections really are, and how quickly opportunities disappear when fear keeps people apart. That realization stayed with him long after the moment passed. It made him reflect on conversations unfinished, feelings unresolved, and the absence that never truly stopped affecting him. Now, his thoughts continue, returning to you with a clarity he cannot ignore anymore. What once felt uncertain has become impossible for him to dismiss, and as tomorrow gets closer, so does the courage he has been struggling to find within himself all this time. He couldn't distract himself, he couldn't pretend, he couldn't silence the voice inside him that kept repeating your name. And tomorrow, he is coming not just to speak, but to finally do the one thing he kept running from, to choose you openly, without hesitation, without fear, without hiding behind excuses or pain. His heart is stepping forward before his body even reaches you, and everything in him is preparing to reveal what he once buried in shadows. Tomorrow he won't just knock on your door or appear in your path casually. Every part of his arrival will feel intentional, almost scripted by a higher hand, as though the world is pausing just for the two of you. His eyes will carry the weight of nights he couldn't sleep, days he couldn't focus, moments he wished he could take back, and silent attempts he made to approach you but lost courage at the last second. And yet, when he sees you, all that hesitation finally breaks. The truth is, He has imagined this moment 1,000 times, rehearsing what he might say, how he might stand, how he might express the things he once locked behind pride and confusion. But none of those rehearsals matter anymore, because the real moment will overwhelm him beyond anything he planned. You are not just someone he missed, you are the person he realized he cannot move forward without. There is something he will confess tomorrow that will change your understanding of everything that happened between you, a truth he never trusted himself to admit, not because he didn't want you, but because he feared he wasn't enough, feared he would disappoint you, feared he would lose the only person who ever saw him with real depth. His silence was not rejection, it was fear of failing you. His distance was not coldness, it was a battle within himself that he refused to show. And tomorrow, he brings that truth with trembling hands and a steady heart, ready to face whatever comes, because losing you again is not something he is willing to risk. He has grown in ways you never saw, healed wounds you never knew he carried, and awakened to a realization that your connection was never temporary, never accidental, never ordinary. Stay with me, because tomorrow is the moment everything shifts. The beginning of a chapter that destiny guarded fiercely. The return of someone who once left but could never forget. And the arrival of a truth powerful enough to rewrite the story of your life. When he stands before you, the energy will change. The atmosphere will thicken. Time will feel slower. And in that silence between you, something ancient, something cosmic, something undeniable will awaken. His arrival marks the moment your life steps into a new frequency, a higher alignment, a path overflowing with meaning that you are finally ready to step into. Tomorrow, he comes with truth, with purpose, with a heart that finally understands who it beats for. And when he does, you will feel the world shift beneath your feet. The hours leading into tomorrow carry a quiet tension, the kind that settles into the air before something life-changing arrives, as if the universe itself is bracing for impact, preparing you for a chapter that has been waiting to unlock since the moment your destinies intertwined. All day, signs will surround you, small shifts, unexpected thoughts, sudden memories, waves of emotion that rise without warning, as if every invisible force is whispering that this is not an ordinary day, but the final turning point before everything changes. My beloved child, his energy is already moving toward you, brushing against your aura like a warm current in a cold room, awakening parts of you that have been dormant for far too long. Deep inside you will feel this rush, this pull, this unexplainable certainty that tomorrow is a doorway, and once you walk through it, life will never return to what it was before. That feeling is not fear, it is destiny preparing your heart for impact. What he carries within him tomorrow is not simple affection or regret. It is a storm he has been fighting alone for months, a storm of truth, longing, guilt, awakening, and a love he never understood until he nearly lost all connection to it. Something inside him shattered recently, not in a way that broke him, but in a way that forced him to grow, forced him to confront wounds he avoided, forced him to admit truths he had even from himself. He realized how deeply your absence affected him, how every attempt to move forward without you felt hollow, and how every step he took away from you somehow circled back to the same memory, the look in your eyes the last time he saw you. That look became the compass of his soul, guiding him even when he tried to walk in the opposite direction. And tomorrow he is coming not just to return to your life, but to kneel before the truth he once ran from. There is something he discovered, an information, a revelation, a realization, that broke the last of his resistance and pushed him into a place of absolute certainty about you. Someone told him something, or he overheard something, or he witnessed something that hit him like a silent lightning strike, exposing how much danger he put himself in by pretending his feelings were unimportant. It shook him, awakened him, forced him to look at everything he had ignored. He realized how irreplaceable you are, how rare your connection is, how impossible it is for him to deny the pull anymore. He saw something about you that made his heart contract with both fear and awe, forcing him to confront the truth he avoided, that you were never just someone he liked. You were the one thing in his life that made sense, the one presence that brought peace, the one soul he felt safe with even when he didn't understand why. Tomorrow, when he arrives, he will carry a silence at first. There's a strange kind of stillness that reaches a person when they finally understand how much damage silence can create. He carried that feeling for longer than he should have, hiding behind distance, distractions, and words that never fully revealed what was actually breaking inside him. But now, something in him has changed. The excuses no longer fit, the pretending feels exhausting, and for the first time, he's ready to stand in front of you, without hiding behind pride or confusion. When he finally sees you again, there will be no games, no uncertainty, no attempt to escape the truth. His eyes will hold a sincerity you may have once begged to see, the kind that only appears after someone has lost sleep, replaying every mistake they made. He won't arrive with perfect lines or dramatic promises. Instead, he'll come carrying honesty, the raw kind that trembles in a person's voice when they care deeply and fear losing what matters most. He will finally admit the emotions he buried, the thoughts he was too afraid to speak aloud, and the regret that followed him through every quiet night apart from you. In that moment, everything around you will seem to slow down. The confusion, the distance, the unanswered questions that once felt unbearable will suddenly begin to make sense. This reunion is not about fixing the past overnight, but about two people finally meeting each other without masks, without ego, and without fear. Some connections survive because they were always meant to return stronger, wiser, and more genuine than before, and this moment will feel exactly like that. The final hours before his arrival will feel unreal, as though the world around you is moving differently, slowed down, stretched, intensified by an invisible force that wants you to feel every second, leading toward tomorrow. Even the air will feel heavier, charged with anticipation, as if something sacred is approaching your life and nothing can interrupt its path. My beloved child, tonight, destiny stands closer to you than ever before, watching you, preparing you, shaping the ground beneath your feet for the moment that will alter everything you believe about timing, fate, love, and the silent connections that never truly break. You may notice flashes of his memory, sudden emotions rising in your chest, moments where your intuition whispers louder than usual, and these sensations are not random. They are the universe aligning you with the vibration of what comes next. Tomorrow is no longer a date on a calendar. Tomorrow is the moment your story shifts into a chapter that will redefine your entire understanding of who he is and who you are meant to become. While you wait, know that he is not simply preparing himself physically. His soul is in turmoil, replaying moments of your past, remembering things he thought he forgot, feeling emotions he once suppressed, and battling fears he can no longer hide behind. He feels the pull of destiny as strongly as you do, perhaps even more intensely, because he knows he is the one who walked away, hesitated, or delayed what his heart always knew was right. The weight on his shoulders tonight is unlike anything he has felt before. He is confronting old wounds, past mistakes, lessons he ignored, and truths he refused to accept. And yet, even with all that fear, he moves forward. Even with uncertainty pressing against his chest, he continues preparing to face you. Tomorrow, he does not come as the same person you once knew. He comes transformed, shaped by regret, strengthened by realization, awakened by clarity, and humbled by the simple truth that he cannot run from you anymore. There is a revelation he will carry into tomorrow, one he has never spoken aloud, not even to himself fully, because admitting it felt too vulnerable, too exposing, too real. But after everything he experienced recently, after the signs, the dreams, the emotional breakdowns, the moments he imagined losing you forever. He knows that holding this truth inside any longer would destroy him. This revelation is the reason destiny pushed him back toward your path instead of allowing him to drift further away. It is the reason he woke up one morning with his heart racing, realizing something about you that left him breathless. It is the reason he kept trying to forget you but only remembered you more intensely with each passing day. And tomorrow, when he stands before you, his eyes will reveal that truth before his lips even speak it. It will hit you like a wave, heavy, overwhelming, undeniable, and in that moment, everything will click into place in your heart. You will understand why the connection between you never faded, why time could not erase him, and why tomorrow had to come exactly when it does. Tomorrow's meeting will not begin with loud words or dramatic gestures. It will begin with a silence so deep it pulls you in like a current. The silence between two souls that were always meant to find their way back. His presence will be different, grounded, intense, almost trembling with the pressure of everything he has to say, but doesn't know how to begin. He will start slowly, carefully, measuring each word, as if he fears one wrong sentence could shatter the moment. But underneath his caution is a fire, one that has been burning quietly inside him, growing stronger each time he tried to extinguish it. When he speaks, you will hear sincerity in his tone that was never there before. You will hear a man who has wrestled with his own shadows and finally emerged with courage. You will hear someone ready to open doors he once kept locked, someone ready to let you into corners of his heart he never let anyone near. Tomorrow, he will speak the truth that destiny has been waiting for. Stay with me, because what happens after tomorrow begins is the true shift, the moment when his confession meets your inner strength, when your silence meets his vulnerability, when your past meets his realization, and the future begins rewriting itself in real time. You won't feel confused. You won't feel abandoned. You won't feel lost. You will feel a deep, anchoring certainty that this moment was never meant to be avoided. The universe protected it, delayed it, refined it, strengthened it, and now it is finally ready to unfold. And when he stands before you, the world will feel different, smoother, heavier, more aligned, as if everything that once fell apart was simply rearranging itself for this exact point. Tomorrow, he comes not just with words, but with a heart ready to step into its truth. The day he arrives will begin with an unusual stillness, a calm that feels almost supernatural, as if the world is making space for something monumental to unfold, something that has been waiting behind the scenes for far too long. Even the light will feel different, softer yet sharper, touching everything around you with a quiet urgency, as though the universe is reminding you that today is not ordinary. My beloved child, you will wake with a sensation in your chest that tells you something massive is on its way, a pull, a pressure, a knowing. It won't feel like anxiety, it will feel like alignment, a sense that today destiny finally moves from silence into form. His energy will reach you before he physically does, brushing against your spirit like a familiar warmth, announcing his approach in a way that only your soul can recognize. And when the hours shift closer to the moment your paths cross again, the world around you will seem to guide you into place, arranging everything so that nothing interrupts the meeting fate has been protecting for months. The moment he wakes today, something inside him will feel impossible to ignore, not sadness, not confusion, but a deep emotional pull that finally forces him to confront everything he spent so long avoiding. Your presence lingers in his mind, like a memory that never faded, growing stronger with every quiet second. The sound of your laughter, the warmth in your words, the comfort he once found in your energy, all of it returns with a clarity that reaches straight into his heart. He starts realizing that no matter how far he tried to distance himself, his emotions never truly left. They waited patiently beneath the surface, becoming louder every time life reminded him of what was missing. Today, he stops running from that truth. He begins understanding how deeply his silence affected the connection, how the space between you carried more pain than either of you deserved. The distance was never created because he didn't care. It came from uncertainty within himself, from the fear of disappointing someone who genuinely mattered to him. He spent so much time wrestling with his own doubts that he failed to recognize how valuable your bond truly was until the emptiness of your absence forced him to see it clearly. Now, everything feels different. His thoughts are no longer clouded by hesitation. There is a calm determination building inside him, a quiet courage urging him to finally speak from the heart without hiding behind fear. When he comes toward you, it won't be with mixed signals or unfinished emotions. He will come with honesty, carrying words he should have said long ago and feelings he can no longer suppress. There may be silence at first, the kind filled with emotion too powerful for immediate expression, but his eyes will reveal everything before his voice does. You will sense the sincerity in him, the regret for lost time, the tenderness he kept guarded, and the hope that this moment can become a new beginning instead of another goodbye. As he opens up, every sentence will feel genuine and unfiltered, like someone finally removing the weight they carried for too long. The energy between you will shift naturally, replacing confusion with understanding and uncertainty with emotional clarity. This is not simply about someone returning after distance. It is about two people finally reaching a point where honesty becomes stronger than fear. And once that truth is spoken aloud, neither of your lives will move in quite the same way again.